Hello, people. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good. What? What's up, gamers? Look, we talking about the crew. The crew has 40 million users. You know, the open world racing game. 40 million. Listen to this. Crew franchise has 40 million players. Says the crew initially released in 2014 based on an open world map. The new racing franchise boasts many multiplayer elements on top of two traditional racing gameplay. The first game sold over 2 million copies and spawned a sequel and various expansion. A brand new entry has already been confirmed for 2023. While talking about the Crew Motorfest, creative director Stefan Biely recently reminisced about the beginning of the driving series. He confirmed that over 40 million players had played the Crew. And then it says here, unlike other racing games, the Crew franchise offers a ton of variety when it comes to vehicles. While there is no shortage of cars, the Crew includes vehicles like planes, boats, and a jet ski. The Crew also introduced bikes through the Wild Run expansion, becoming one of the few racing games to offer such diversity. It says this is likely captivated a wider audience, allowing the game to reach impressive 40 million mark. In its tweet, creative director Stefan Biely also looked back on the developer's earlier ambition, a journey that started over a decade ago. The Crew Motorfest builds on the foundation of previous entries in Ubisoft racing games. Ubisoft Ivory Towers uses the impressive Snowdrop engine to take the game to new heights. This engine should allow the studio to produce its most impressive game with lifelike cars and nearly photorealistic environments. It says here, with huge ambitions and a fresh new engine, the Crew Motorfest has the potential to be the most appealing entry in the franchise. Ubisoft has already confirmed that the big gaming plan will be heavily involved in E3, so fans can expect plenty of information on the racing game in the coming months. Look, 40 million users is pretty impressive for a racing franchise. But in today's video game environment, social media plays a real key role in it now. You know, social media, and you have to, communication is key when it comes to making video games, and to reach that milestone, that's what it took. Having building a user base with the first game is one thing, with what 2 million, but then to go from 2 million to 40 now, that takes a lot of communication between the gamers and the developers. So 40 million is pretty impressive. So you need social media in today's video game climate when it comes to video games. And since they're talking about Ubisoft, let's talk about Skull and Bones for a minute. In the height of the pirate game life, gaming cycle, when Sea of Thieves, Blazing Sails, Skull and Bones, Skull and Bones was supposed to, and Atlas. Skull and Bones, to me, when they showed the first video, to me they should have dropped the they should have released that game and then use social media to build the game as they go. And I think that's what Ubisoft should have done, because the first video that I seen of the game was pretty impressive, and they should have released it, and then once they built up a nice user base, they stay in constant communication, and then use the feedbacks that they were getting from the user base of Skull and Bones, and then use that to build the game. And that's what Rare did with Sea of Thieves. Rare, when Rare came out with Sea of Thieves, Sea of Thieves didn't have no big grand entry. They released it, and there were some people at I think it was GameSpot or IGN that was laughing at the game, right? Laughing at when they were talking about it. But from that point, since Rare released Sea of Thieves, they stayed in constant communication with their users. And they kept building it and adding updates and expansion, and they were just building the game. And now Sea of Thieves has about, I think, what, 30 users, 30 plus million users. So in today's video game climate, social media plays a key role in how big your game gets, and communication is key in all this. And that's what happened with the creators of The Crew, you know, with social media and communicating with your user base and listening to the feedbacks that you're getting. That's the keys to success now when it comes to making video games. 40 million users. That is impressive, man, for a racing game, man. You know, and we're not gonna go back now. We're not gonna go back to the old ways of racing games. Games like The Crew and what's that? Forza Horizon. Those games are making sure that we don't go back to the old ways of racing games anymore. The old ways of racings are dead now. So those open world games now, to have success with those games, communication, you know, is key with your users. You know. Because while you're building the game, you need feedback from the users while they're playing the game and while you're working on the expansion of the game. You need feedback from users. Going forward, man. And 40 million users, pretty impressive. And then now you add the new game that's coming out in 2023 now. You know the 40 million users are looking forward to this game. So yeah. The Crew, what it says here? The Crew, what's this? The Crew, Motorfest. The Crew Motorfest. Oh yeah. That game's 40 million. That number might jump, you know, because word of mouth gets out, man. So you know, a lot of those 40 million users are looking forward to the new game that's coming out this year. But in today's video game climate, man, if you want to have success with your games, the name of the game is communication. You know, you have to communicate with your users. You know, to have success. You know, because the players that are playing the games, you know, they might see something that they might like, or they might not like. Or they might have something that you could add to the game to make the experience more better. So you have to communicate with your users, and that's what they have done. So when it comes to these video games, man, you know, social media and communication plays a key role, man, in having success. And congrats to them, man. 40 million users, pretty good. Anyway, leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Dark Sec.